next question. Belinda buys a flat screen plasma television costing 20,000 rand on hire purchase. Right? The moment you see those two words, hire purchase, that should be a clue to you that we are dealing with simple interest. Okay, so she got a flat screen plasma television which was costing 20,000 rand from hire purchase. She traded in an old television for 3,000 rand and paid a deposit of 2,000 rand. The balance was paid by means of monthly installments of 900 rand over 2 years. Calculate the total simple interest paid and the rate of simple interest. Okay, so here it's very important for you to be aware that we are dealing with a hire purchase question. All hire purchase problems involve simple interest, unless otherwise it is stated that it involves compound interest, but otherwise it will be simple interest. Right? Now for this scenario here, she traded in an old television, okay, for 3,000. Okay, the cost of the cash price for the television was 20,000, but she had an old television that she traded in, and the cost of that old television was 3,000. Then she also paid a deposit of 2,000 rand. Okay, then the balance now, okay, which will be, okay, let's calculate that balance first. Okay, so in this case here, the balance will be equal to 20,000 rand minus the 3,000, which was the trade-in value of the old television, minus the deposit. So in total, she ended up borrowing 15,000 rand. Okay, she borrowed 15,000 rand. Right? Now she paid monthly installments of 900 over 2 years. So we need to calculate the total of the simple interest paid. Now to calculate the total of the simple interest, we need to know what was the future value after borrowing 15,000. Okay? So based on the information here, we need to calculate that A there. Then our P is going to be 15,000. Because that's the amount she borrowed to buy the television. Right? Our number of years there is 2 years. And the interest rate, okay, in this case the interest rate is not given. Okay, so we have got two unknowns. Now, because we have two unknowns here, if we try to use this formula A equals P times 1 plus I raised to power, or sorry, times plus I times N, we are going to have problems because two of those unknowns are not given. We don't know this. We also don't know the interest rate. Okay? But we can use common sense. Okay? We can use common sense to calculate the amount which was, the amount that she spent in total. Okay? When I say in total, I'm talking about excluding the trade-in amounts. Okay? Then, for here, we have to use common sense. Sometimes questions on financial maths require you to use common sense. We don't know A, we don't know I, but based on the information here, we can calculate it. Okay, so let's calculate this future value. Now, it's important for you to know that this A here, this A, you can find it if you are given the monthly installment. Remember, the A, it includes the amount which was borrowed plus the interest which accumulated. Remember that. So if she paid 900 every month for 2 years, it means it will be 900 times 24 months. Okay, so the value of A is going to be equal to, our A is going to be 900 times 24 months. What answer do you get?
21,600.
You get 21,600. So that's our A. Then, how much interest? See, here it says, calculate the total simple interest A. Okay? That A is not the total simple interest. The simple interest, remember I gave you a formula, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. I told that interest is always equal to A minus what? P. Remember that. Okay, so here, our A is 21,600 minus P, which is 15,000. P is the amount that she borrowed. Okay, so the total here will be 6,600. This is the total of the interest, total interest that she paid. Okay, so she paid 6,600 as interest. So for this question, if you try to use this formula here, it will not work because there were two unknowns. One, the A was not given. Two, the interest rate was not given.
So
Yes.
you calculated the 900 over what? Then you started using that equation. So then you'll have A and then you work for
Yeah, maybe you should read it that way. Because now we've got A, so we can now calculate I. Which is what I'm going to do. Because remember, this question has got two parts. Okay? First, you're supposed to calculate the simple interest paid. Then the next part of the question, you are supposed to calculate the rate of simple interest. So I've found the interest which was paid. Now I need to calculate the interest rate. Are you following? Huh? Are you following? Okay, so let's move on to the next page. So to calculate the interest rate, we use the formula for simple interest, A equal to P times 1 plus I times N. Where there is A here, we are going to put 21,600. Okay? Then where there is P, we put 15,000. Then 1 plus I times N. In this case, N is 2. So I times 2 will give you what? 2I. Now remember, I is the interest rate as a decimal. Okay? If you want to work with the interest rate as a percentage, it's also fine. But you need to remember that your R is always equal to 100 times what? Times I. Okay? Which means your I is equal to R over what? 100. Okay? Are you following? Okay, so here we have to divide. Let me carry on. Alright, so here you have to divide both sides by 15,000, obviously. So your knowledge of equations is required here. And that will be 1 plus 2i. Okay?
0.44.
Is what?
0.44.
Are there
1.44.
1,44. Are there any other digits after that? No. Okay, this will be equal to 1 plus 2i. Okay, what's the objective? To calculate I. Now, solving a simple equation like this should not be a problem because you are in grade 10 now. Okay, so you take the one to the left, and you get 0.44 equal to 2i. Then we divide both sides by 2. So your I will be equal to what? 0.1. Huh?
0.22.
You get 0.22. Right? Now, from there we can say therefore R would be equal to 22%. Yes.
So you don't have to say I is 0.20 times 100 is equal to 22%.
Okay. Once you multiply by 100, we are talking about R. It's no longer I. Please be aware that once you multiply the 0.22 by 100, it's no longer I, but it's now what? R. So you might get to write it like this. You say R is equal to 0.22 times 100. Then you get to 22. Please be aware of that. The moment you multiply the interest rate as a decimal by 100, it's no longer I. It's now what? R. Okay? Remember what I wrote here. Remember this. It's important for you to understand that in grade 10. Because finance, you do it in grade 11, you also do it in metric. So you need to understand what's going on. Okay? Any questions? Let's move on to the next question. The next question was on inflation rate. So the question says, suppose that a person earns a monthly salary of 20,000, right? What would this salary have been 30 years ago, assuming an annual average rate of inflation of 4.5%? Okay, so 30 years ago, we need to determine how much the person was earning. So here, our future value, which is going to be 20,000. So A is given. Okay, P is unknown. Then our N here is 30 years. Okay, our interest rate, sorry, our rate of inflation is 4.5%, which is 0.045. Okay, any question involving inflation, you have to use the compound interest formula. Okay, so that will be A equal to P times 1 plus I raised to the power of N. I'm going to repeat that. Any question involving inflation, the correct formula to use is the one for compound interest. Okay, so we substitute here 20,000 is equal to P times 1 plus 0.045 raised to the power of 30. Then, now here we want to calculate P. Obviously, this exponential term is one number. Okay, so if you want to calculate P, we have to divide both sides by the exponential term. There is no need for an increase in heartbeat because you saw an equation like this, and then your blood starts running fast. This is very simple. Okay, whatever you have got an exponential term here, so I can write the left hand side as is, then I'll simplify the right hand side. Okay, so next I just have to divide both sides by this exponential term in order to get P. No need to get scared because you saw an equation like that. Now your face should be smiling. Yes, you should be smiling. And you should come out of that test or examination smiling. Because this is very easy. Okay? Right? So, from here, it will be 20,000 divided by 1,045 raised to the power of 30. This will be equal to P. Then you take your calculator. You don't have to, you can put that number which is on the left hand side at once in your calculator. Okay, let me show you. At once. Okay, so you take out the calculator and put the fraction option. We have got 20,000 there. So 20,000. Then we divide that. Now 1,045 is our base. So we put 1,045. Okay. Then you put the exponent there, which is 30. Okay. Your calculator will give you an answer straight away. So you'll be 5,340 there. Okay, so P is going to be 5,340 rands. Okay, there are no cents.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. But obviously, whatever way you use this equation,
Yes. I see that I is wrong, so I put up the same answer.
okay, in that case now, it means I may need to look at the working out how you were able to get to the answer.
Because I took the 20,000 as a value of two, and then I worked for 8. And then I put the year, put minus 30 years, so there's 30 years ago. And then you say, I still got the same answer, 5,340 plus 8. Not the 2. So I mixed up A and B.
All right. Okay, let's talk about this question now. So, this person Brenda won a competition where she can fly to 3 international destinations free of charge with spending money. The destinations she chose were Germany, Japan, and England. For Germany, she was allocated 9,000 euros. For Japan, she was allocated 30,000 yen. For England, she was allocated 2,500 pounds. Use the exchange rates in the table on the next page. Okay, please not the next page, it's on the table below. Okay, so we need to use these exchange rates to determine the total in rand. Okay, the total in rand. Now, what this means that 1 euro is at this time it was 10 rand and 46 cents. Then 1 Japanese yen, okay, was equivalent to 29 cents in South Africa, that is the rand. It was 0.29 of the rand. Then in England, 1 pound is 17 rand and 12 cents. Okay, so if we want to get a total, okay, if you're following yesterday's lesson, okay, for this question we have got 3 currencies. So if you want, you can do them separately and then add the totals, or you can just write one equation and get the answer. Okay? Yes.
One equation is 3 different exchange rates.
You convert the amounts to rand. So let's say in Germany, let's start with Germany here. So 1 euro, okay, 1 euro for 1 euro is equivalent to 10 rand and 46 cents. Okay, so if you are given 9,000 euros, how many rands are
9,000.
you going to get? So x there is going to be, remember, this x must be more than 10 rand and 46 cents. So it will be 9,000 divided by 1 and what? 10,46. Okay. So from here, so it means the x is going to be, the chain will come out nicely. So this is supposed to be 10,46. So if you multiply 9,000 by 10,46, what answer do you get? 94,140. This is now in rand. Okay? Then, let's move on. Then, for Japan, right? So for Japan, now in this case, 1 yen is equal to 0.29 rand. So 1 yen is equal to 0.29 rand. Okay? So if you have got 30,000 yen, so that would be 30,000 yen. Okay, in rand, how much are you going to get? That's what we are trying to calculate. So this will be, obviously, if you are to convert 30,000 to rands, the amount has to be lower. Okay? So how do you calculate that? It will be 30,000 divided by 1 times what? 0.29. And what answer do you get?
8,000.
You get 8,700. Okay? So we'll do the same for England. Okay? So for England, we have £1. £1 is equal to 17 rand and 12 cents. 17 rand and 12 cents. So this will be 17 rand and 12 cents. Right? Then you have 2,500 pounds. Okay? So your X obviously is going to be 2,500 over 1 times 17 rand and 12 cents. What answer do you get?
42,800.
So 42,800. So the total amount, can you stop talking behind me, please? So the total amount will be equal to it will be equal to 91,140 plus 8,700 plus 42,800. What total do you get? 145,649. Okay. So that's what you're supposed to have done. I hope you're following what I'm doing. Next week, some of the things that I'm doing, you need to do them on first.